Have you ever felt like you were being taken advantage of when you help others enthusiastically only to receive bitterness in return? If you have, you're not alone. It's truly unfortunate that kindness is sometimes exploited, and that feeling of betrayal can hurt deeply. But don't despair, just yet. You've come to the right place. In today's video, we will explore a harsh reality. Kindness, when not given to the right people, can become dangerous. We will unveil the mystery, identifying the subtle signs of those who deceitfully exploit the kindness of others. But before we dive into the main content, let's travel back in time to an old story about Prince William. In this tale, we will see how the prince's kindness was taken advantage of and draw valuable lessons for ourselves. Once upon a time in a faraway kingdom, there was a prince named William. William was renowned throughout the kingdom for his kindness and compassion. He always helped the poor, never shying away from difficulties, and believed that kindness would bring happiness and peace to all. One day, a cunning man named Lucas heard about William's kindness and decided to take advantage of it. Lucas pretended to be a poor man, came to William, and told him that he had lost all his possessions in a fire and had nowhere to go. William, with a compassionate heart, invited Lucas into the palace and gave him a place to stay. As time passed, Lucas began to abuse William's kindness. He frequently asked for money, food, and even fine clothes without any intention of working or helping in return. Furthermore, Lucas started spreading malicious stories about William, causing many in the palace to doubt and look down on the prince. One day, while walking in the forest, William happened to meet an old lady lying by the roadside, weak and exhausted. The old lady said that she was lost and couldn't find her way home. William didn't hesitate to help, bringing her back to the palace, caring for her, and providing her with rest. The old lady, moved by William's kindness, revealed that she was a fairy testing his goodness. The fairy was saddened to know that William had been taken advantage of and decided to help him. She gave William a magic mirror that could reveal the true nature of people. William used the magic mirror to reflect on everyone in the palace, and the truth about Lucas was quickly exposed. Everyone saw Lucas's cunning and exploitative nature. Lucas was expelled from the kingdom, and others who had taken advantage of William were sternly warned. With the help of the magic mirror and the fairy, William could distinguish between those who were sincere and those who were deceitful. He continued to do many good deeds and was loved and respected by everyone. William's kindness not only brought happiness to himself, but also spread throughout the kingdom, making everyone live in harmony and love. Does the story of Prince William evoke memories of your own kindness being taken advantage of? Perhaps you've extended a helping hand to someone with all sincerity, only to be met with disappointment and hurt. Or maybe you simply want to gain a deeper understanding of the darker side of human nature, of those who are willing to exploit the kindness of others for their own gain. Whichever group you belong to, this video is sure to provide you with fresh and valuable insights. We will analyze the story of Prince William together, uncover early warning signs to identify those with ill intentions, and most importantly, learn how to protect ourselves from unnecessary pain. Subscribe to the channel now so you don't miss upcoming videos. We'll continue our journey of discovering the secrets to building a happier and more meaningful life. A life where your kindness not only shines brightly but is also bestowed upon the right people at the right time. Despite the fact that gratitude is highly regarded by society as an important moral quality, scientific and psychological studies have pointed out a paradox. Humans have a natural tendency to overlook and forget the good things that others have done for them. This tendency towards ingratitude is not a moral failing but a psychological mechanism that can be explained by various scientific theories. One of the most common explanations is the phenomenon of hedonic adaptation. According to this theory, humans quickly adapt to positive changes in their lives. When something good happens, we initially feel happy and grateful, but this feeling gradually fades as we become accustomed to the presence of that positive thing. As a result, we start to take good things for granted and no longer feel the need to be grateful. Additionally, psychology also indicates that people tend to focus more on what they lack rather than what they have. We often compare ourselves to others, paying attention to the successes and possessions they have, and feel dissatisfied with what we currently possess. This focus on our deficiencies makes it easy to overlook the contributions and support that others have given us, leading to ingratitude. Discussing human ingratitude is not to sow doubt or prevent us from performing kind acts. On the contrary, it is an opportunity to realistically understand human nature, thereby adjusting our way of giving to be both meaningful and appreciated. Understanding the human tendency towards ingratitude helps us not to place too much expectation on reciprocation. When we give without expecting anything in return, we can avoid unnecessary disappointment and hurt. At the same time, we also need to learn to give wisely, knowing our limits, and being able to say no when necessary, so that our kindness is not exploited. Have you ever wondered if unconditional kindness and unlimited generosity always yield good results? The truth is, when you give too much beyond your capacity and limits, you may unintentionally open the door to unwanted troubles. Number 1. You will be easily exploited. Kindness and generosity, when misplaced, can become fertile ground for selfish and cunning individuals. For example, a colleague might frequently ask you to help with their tasks without any intention of reciprocating. You may feel that you are doing a good deed, but in reality you are being exploited. They take advantage of your kindness to lighten their own load, while you end up taking on additional work that is not your responsibility. One of the reasons people are easily exploited when they are too kind is their difficulty in saying no. Psychology suggests that kind-hearted individuals often worry about disappointing others or feeling selfish if they refuse to help. This leads them to easily accept unreasonable requests and frequently find themselves in disadvantageous situations. The inability to say no not only causes mental stress, but also negatively impacts their quality of life and work. When being exploited, kind people often do not realize it immediately. Initially, they feel satisfied for having helped others. However, as the requests increase and reciprocation never comes, they begin to feel exhausted and disheartened. The feelings of betrayal, disappointment, and stress can lead to serious psychological consequences such as anxiety, depression, and a loss of trust in people. The reality is that exploitation does not only occur in the workplace but also in personal relationships. A friend or family member may frequently ask for financial help, assistance with work, or other personal matters without ever thinking of repaying the favor. They may see you as an inexhaustible resource, always ready to be exploited. This not only hurts your self-esteem, but also makes the relationship unbalanced and unsustainable. To avoid being exploited, it is important to learn how to set boundaries and know how to say no when necessary. Boundaries help protect you from unreasonable requests and keep your kindness from being taken advantage of. Saying no does not make you a bad or selfish person. On the contrary, it shows that you understand your own value and know how to protect your mental and physical health. A typical example is the case of Anna, an office worker. Anna was always willing to help her colleagues whenever they needed it. Initially, she felt very happy for having done many good deeds, but gradually, the requests from colleagues became more frequent and complex. Anna began to feel exhausted, but she hesitated to refuse because she feared people would think she was selfish. As a result, Anna became overwhelmed with her own work and no longer had time for herself. She was stressed and felt very tired. Eventually, Anna had to learn to say no politely and set clear boundaries to protect herself. Kindness and generosity are valuable qualities, but it is crucial to use them wisely. Understanding the tendency to be exploited helps us not to place too much expectation on reciprocation and to keep our kindness appreciated. When giving without expecting anything in return and knowing how to protect ourselves, we can avoid unnecessary disappointments and hurts. At the same time, we also need to learn how to give wisely, knowing our limits and knowing how to refuse when necessary to ensure our kindness is not exploited. Always maintain your kindness, but do not forget to protect yourself from those who would exploit it. This is the way to live a meaningful and happier life. Number 2. Causing psychological pressure when kindness becomes a burden. When kindness becomes a burden, you may feel pressured to always be the good person, always ready to help those around you, regardless of how it affects you personally. The fear of being judged, isolated, or disappointing others can prevent you from saying no or setting boundaries for yourself. Imagine you're an employee who always takes on extra work even when overloaded, out of fear of being perceived as incompetent by your boss, or you're the friend who always listens to everyone's problems even when you're struggling yourself because you're afraid they'll turn to someone else if you refuse. These situations, though stemming from kindness, can gradually erode your mental health if they persist. This stress accumulates over time, creating significant psychological pressure. You may feel tired, exhausted, or even resentful of your own kindness. You might become irritable, easily angered, or conversely withdraw and avoid others. In more severe cases, you could experience depression or anxiety, seriously impacting your quality of life. Remember, you're not obligated to please everyone. Kindness is wonderful, but it shouldn't become a chain that binds you. You have the right to say no, the right to set boundaries for yourself, and the right to prioritize your own mental well-being. Learning to say no, when necessary, isn't selfish. It's a way to protect yourself and ensure you have enough energy to continue spreading kindness sustainably. Don't be afraid to express your true feelings. Share your difficulties and seek support from those around you. Because only when you love and care for yourself can you spread love to others in a sincere and meaningful way. Number 3. Losing self-worth. The pitfall of excessive kindness. In modern society, kindness and generosity are always valued and encouraged. However, when kindness becomes excessive, it can lead to unintended consequences, one of which is the loss of self-worth. Excessive kindness not only causes others to disrespect you, but can also make them disregard your value. They may think you are easygoing and not worthy of respect. When you are always ready to help others without setting boundaries, you may be undervalued and not taken seriously. For example, in a work environment, if you constantly take on other people's tasks without complaining, colleagues may start to take it for granted. They will no longer appreciate your help and may even think that you lack the ability or will to refuse. This leads to you being assigned menial tasks and not being recognized for your contributions. A specific example is the case of John, a technician at a software company. John was always willing to help his colleagues with technical issues, even those outside his job scope. Initially, his colleagues were grateful and thanked him a lot. However, over time, they began to take John's help for granted. Whenever any issue arose, they would immediately turn to John without trying to solve it themselves first. John found himself increasingly burdened by other people's work, while his main tasks weren't completed on time. Eventually, John felt exhausted and unappreciated. He realized that although he had helped a lot, his value was not being recognized. Not only in the workplace, but excessive kindness can also lead to a loss of self-worth in personal relationships. In a friendship, if you are always the one who yields and follows the wishes of others, you may be disrespected. They might think that you lack opinions and are easily persuaded. This not only hurts your self-esteem, but also makes the relationship unbalanced and unsustainable. For example, Sarah is a very kind friend and always willing to help everyone. Whenever her friends needed something, Sarah was the first to be there and never refused any request. But gradually, her friends started to take her help for granted. They stopped thanking Sarah and even demanded more from her. When Sarah needed help, few of them were willing to support her. Sarah began to feel exploited and unappreciated. She realized that her kindness was misplaced and that she needed to change her approach to protect her self-worth. To avoid losing self-worth due to excessive kindness, we need to learn how to set clear boundaries. This not only protects us from unreasonable demands, but also helps others understand and respect our value. Refusing unreasonable requests does not make you a bad or selfish person. On the contrary, it shows that you understand your value and know how to protect your mental and physical health. Another example is the case of David, a project manager. David always tried to please everyone and frequently took on additional tasks from other departments. He rarely refused any requests because he wanted everyone to see him as a dedicated and reliable manager. However, this led to him being overwhelmed and unable to complete his main responsibilities effectively. When the project deadlines were missed, David was reprimanded and evaluated poorly on his management skills. David realized that his kindness was misplaced and that he needed to learn how to refuse in order to protect his value and competency. Kindness and generosity are valuable qualities, but it is crucial to use them wisely. Understanding the tendency to lose self-worth helps us not to place too much expectation on reciprocation and keeps our kindness appreciated. When giving without expecting anything in return and knowing how to protect ourselves, we can avoid unnecessary disappointments and hurts. At the same time, we also need to learn how to give wisely, knowing our limits and knowing how to refuse when necessary, to ensure our kindness is not exploited. Always maintain your kindness, but do not forget to protect yourself from those who would exploit it, and know how to set reasonable boundaries. This is the way to live a meaningful and happier life. Number 4, energy depletion, the consequences of forgetting yourself for others. In modern society, kindness and generosity are always highly valued. We are often encouraged to help others, as it not only makes the world around us better, but also brings joy and satisfaction to ourselves. However, a major risk that many people often overlook is that constantly helping others without taking time for yourself can lead to fatigue and burnout. To maintain sustainable kindness, you need to conserve energy for yourself to continue doing meaningful things. When you continuously prioritize the needs of others over your own, you can easily become physically and mentally exhausted. This is particularly common in the work environment where demands and pressures are continuously increasing. For example, someone who is always willing to help colleagues whenever they need, working overtime to complete tasks that are not their own, can quickly feel tired. Prolonged fatigue leads to stress, insomnia, and other health issues. Eventually, the person may feel completely drained, losing motivation to continue working or even engaging in activities they once enjoyed. A specific example is the case of Emily, a nurse at a large hospital. Emily took pride in her ability to care for patients and was always ready to help colleagues when they were overwhelmed. Initially, she felt happy because she could help and make the work environment better, but over time, the increasing demands meant Emily had to work multiple shifts without rest. She felt exhausted, sleep-deprived, and began experiencing symptoms of depression. Emily realized that, although her kindness was valuable, she needed to take care of herself to sustain her work and life effectively. Not only at work, but in daily life, neglecting self-care can also lead to energy depletion. A mother who devotes all her time and energy to her family, caring for children, and worrying about everyone while neglecting her own needs, can feel utterly exhausted. This not only affects the mother's health, but also diminishes the quality of care she can provide for her family. Without time to rest and recover, the mother may become irritable, tired, and unable to meet the family's needs adequately. Another example is the case of Michael, who works in the non-profit sector. Michael was very passionate about his work and always put in extra effort to help the less fortunate. He frequently worked overtime, participated in charity events, and was always willing to help everyone in the organization. However, Michael began to notice that he was feeling increasingly tired and burnt out. He no longer had time for his family and friends, and even neglected his own health. Eventually, Michael faced burnout and lost motivation to work. He realized that to continue helping others effectively, he needed to learn how to take time for himself and replenish his energy. To avoid energy depletion, it is crucial to learn how to balance helping others with self-care. This is not a selfish act, but a part of maintaining long-term health and productivity. First, set clear boundaries on the time and energy you can devote to others. Learn to refuse excessive and unnecessary requests, and do not feel guilty when you need to rest. Secondly, ensure you have time for activities you enjoy and that help you relax. This could be reading, walking, exercising, or engaging in artistic activities. These activities not only help you relax, but also rejuvenate your energy and maintain mental health. Finally, seek support when necessary. Sometimes, sharing the burden with others, whether family, friends, or colleagues, can help alleviate pressure and prevent energy depletion. Do not hesitate to ask for help when you feel overwhelmed. Support from others not only helps you feel shared, but also builds a strong support network for times when you need it. In summary, kindness and generosity are valuable qualities, but to sustain them effectively, we must learn to take care of ourselves. Set boundaries, take time for personal enjoyment, and seek support when needed. Only when we have sufficient energy and health can we continue to do meaningful things and help others effectively. Number 5. When kindness unintentionally becomes an obstacle. When someone consistently receives help every time they encounter difficulties, they may gradually lose the motivation to seek solutions on their own. Dependence on others will form, making them passive and lacking confidence in their own abilities. This is especially dangerous in harsh environments where the ability to solve problems independently and adapt to circumstances is crucial. Stoic philosophy emphasizes the importance of facing adversity. According to this philosophy, challenges and difficulties are an integral part of life, serving as a forge to temper the will and cultivate resilience. It is through stumbling, that we learn to rise stronger, find creative solutions, and develop the necessary skills to overcome obstacles. If a person is always shielded and protected, they will not have the opportunity to experience these valuable lessons. Furthermore, excessive help can create a vicious cycle of dependence. The recipient may become reliant, always expecting help from others instead of making their own efforts. This not only hinders their personal development, but also creates an unnecessary burden for the helper. Of course, no one denies the value of kindness and sharing. However, we need to do it wisely. Instead of solving problems for others, help them find their own solutions. Instead of giving them a fish, teach them how to fish. Encourage them to face challenges, accompany them through the process of overcoming difficulties, and believe in their abilities. When kindness is taken for granted, we sink deeper into a spiral of resignation, and our voice is drowned in the desire to please others. No one wants their sincere kindness to be trampled upon or taken as a given. So how can we balance helping others while protecting ourselves? Ensuring that kindness does not become a vulnerability to be exploited. Have you ever felt like an open book, always ready to meet the demands and wishes of others, even when it makes you uncomfortable or overwhelmed? If the answer is yes, you may be accustomed to overly accommodating others, to the point where saying no becomes exceedingly difficult. Imagine yourself as a house. Without doors and protective fences, anyone could freely enter, take what they want, and even cause unnecessary harm. Similarly, if you do not establish clear boundaries in your relationships, you will easily be exploited, hurt, and lose your autonomy. Setting boundaries does not mean becoming selfish or cold-hearted. On the contrary, it is a way to show respect for yourself while helping others understand what you can and cannot do. When you learn to say no skillfully and at the right time, you will feel more confident, better control your life, and build healthier, more sustainable relationships. How do you start building healthy boundaries for yourself? Let's answer 3 questions together. Step 1. Reflect on the past. What negative consequences have you experienced from being too accommodating to others? Perhaps you have been abandoned, deceived, disrespected, or simply felt exhausted and burnt out from constantly trying to please others. Step 2. Look at yourself. Has your easygoing nature unintentionally encouraged others to treat you this way? Perhaps you always nod in agreement with every request, never express your own opinions, or consistently prioritize others' needs over your own. Step 3. Look to the future. Think about situations where you wanted to say no, but didn't dare to. It could be declining an invitation to a restaurant you don't like, refusing to work overtime when you're already exhausted, or saying no to helping a friend when you're busy with your own tasks. Building healthy boundaries starts with recognizing the importance of your own needs and valuing your well-being. It involves clear communication and understanding that saying no is not a rejection of others, but an affirmation of your right to self-care. This way, you can continue to be kind and generous without sacrificing your own health and happiness. When you have answered the 3 questions above, you will have a clearer picture of the boundaries you need to establish. Start with small steps, like declining an unsuitable invitation or expressing your opinion frankly. Gradually, you will feel more confident in protecting yourself and building healthy relationships where your kindness is valued and reciprocated with respect. Remember, setting boundaries is an ongoing process. There will be times when you find it difficult or even feel guilty about saying no, but be patient and trust yourself, because when you know how to protect and love yourself, you can spread love to those around you in the most sincere and meaningful way. When you are determined to establish and protect your personal boundaries, prepare yourself for an unavoidable truth. Not everyone will happily accept this change. You might hear complaints like, "Aki, why are you acting so different lately? It's hard." Or, "I like the old you better." Don't get discouraged or blame yourself, as this is the time to stay alert and reevaluate the relationships around you. Observe carefully those who seem upset or disappointed just because you start living more for yourself. Do they truly care about you, or are they simply exploiting your kindness? This acts as a natural filter, helping you recognize who your real friends are, those who love and respect you for who you are, not just for what you can do for them. Remember, except for unconditional love within the family, most relationships are based on value exchange. If you bring kindness and gentleness to the world, you deserve to receive the same in return. If someone criticizes you for changing, don't rush to explain or justify yourself, because not every action needs a reason. Confidence comes from decisiveness. We are often accustomed to explaining and justifying every action we take, especially when refusing an invitation or request. "Sorry, I can't attend your birthday party because I have to pick up my sister at the airport and it's raining and there's traffic," and long explanations like these, even if well-intentioned, unintentionally reduce the confidence and authority in your words, except in special cases like work, where reasons are necessary to persuade others. Giving too many justifications in daily conversations is unnecessary. Imagine a friend who always declines invitations to hang out, accompanied by a series of explanations about work, studies, family, etc., to avoid upsetting anyone. In reality, people only need to know that they can't come because they're busy studying, and that's enough. The truth is, if others really need a detailed reason, they will ask you. Volunteering too much information is not only unnecessary, but can also make others feel that you lack confidence or are trying to hide something. Instead of worrying about what others will think, focus on being assertive and respecting yourself. A simple, straightforward, and sincere refusal is often received better than one accompanied by a plethora of excuses. Remember, you have the right to decide what you want and do not want to do, and you don't have to explain it to everyone. When you learn to say no without justification, you will feel more confident and empowered. You will have more time and energy to focus on the things that are important to you, and you will build healthier relationships based on mutual respect and understanding. At the same time, remember that true kindness is not about doing everything for others, but about giving them the tools to help themselves. Show kindness intelligently by guiding, supporting, and encouraging them to find solutions on their own. Share knowledge, experience, or simply listen and ask open-ended questions to help them discover the answers themselves. This approach not only helps them develop problem-solving skills and boosts their confidence, but also shows your respect for their abilities and potential. You are giving them the opportunity to learn, grow, and become more independent, rather than creating an unhealthy dependency. Remember, sometimes the best help is empowering others to help themselves. This is how you show kindness deeply and sustainably, helping them not only overcome immediate difficulties, but also become more resilient for the journey ahead. Kindness is a valuable quality, but like any other gift, it needs to be given wisely and at the right time and place. Otherwise, your kindness can be taken advantage of, or even backfire. Through this video, I hope you've recognized the signs of kindness being exploited and learned how to protect yourself. Remember, setting boundaries, saying no when necessary, and expressing kindness intelligently are ways to preserve and promote the value of kindness without losing yourself. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and especially subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on future valuable content. We will continue to explore many interesting aspects of life and people together to grow together and live a more meaningful life. Thank you for listening, and see you in the next videos.